Welcome back. We see Galaxy Z folder A view for honeymoons over by Marcus from on day 2.5 million. So let's see. Oh, there is another video. So let's see. I don't know much about Samsung product, but I see this phone, the type folder type, everywhere nowadays. Even in Spider-Man movie, it is not spoiler. It is in a trailer. So let's see what's all this about.
Sometimes, to find something truly new, it has to come from something that we already know.
Oh, nice.
This
So I know I watch movie, not movie. I watch video about the phone folder phone, which like this. I don't know in English the word in English, and open it like this, so it be like mini iPad, and there is that flip like that. The the one though that flip like that, I don't like it. Why? Because the one open like this, it is mini iPad now. It is mini iPad, so yes, it is better.
review brought to you by the Poetry Society of America.
Oh,
Just kidding. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 hit the streets this past week, and I've been daily driving it ever since. And I pretty immediately started to love this thing. You can actually hear me practically falling in love with it during that first impressions video. But now it's past a week later. I've taken a lot of pictures, I've killed the battery a few times, I've got to know what it's really good at and what it's also worse at, and I've run up against its limits, its quirks. The honeymoon period's over, and I still really like it. And you know what's crazy about calling it the honeymoon phase? It's actually kind of perfect because once the honeymoon is over, you're still married, and then you understand better all of your partner, all of the flaws and all of the downsides that come with them, but you embrace that stuff because of all of the positives and upsides that come with it. And at the end of the day, you're closer together because, and
do you know what is honeymoon about Apple's product? It is like not in it, the phone or the iPad. It is like not the word, but you will understand. It is like privilege in it. Like when I mean, like people when you see you have Samsung, it is like strange for them. Strange in negative way. No, like mostly like. So yeah, so the honeymoon for iPhone, it is his privileges.
sorry, maybe that's a bit too poetic.
I spent the last 3 years in an underground bunker.
Oh, so it's real.
This phone's pretty sick, mostly. Like, you can tell right away it's a genuinely new form factor. Even though we've seen this general shape, this more squat aspect ratio before, it's also thinner and it's more squared off, and it's just a different execution than those past phones. So, as a result, this thing is way better than a normal smartphone at a bunch of stuff, but it turns out that comes with being definitely worse than a normal smartphone at some other stuff. So, which do you want first? You want the good news or the bad news?
It is not. It is first, like how we say. It is not first type of folder phone, but it is one of the first folders type for all people. Not all people, like global. What I am trying to say, it is like we know about Huawei and some stuff of some companies already done it in previous years, but I want to try what I am trying to say. It is not global, not cheap. No, but you can't buy it if you save some money. Is that
I
understand?
feel like probably most people will want to start with the good news because, at first impression, that's when you get all the positive vibes. And I think a lot of people will have the same thoughts as me, which is just look at this thing. Look at how neat this thing looks. It's not quite a square, but this is a 5.5-inch diagonal, slightly rectangular AMOLED display. And it is bright, it's sharp, it's a Samsung display. They do all this stuff well. There's relatively even bezels all the way around, and then it's squared off. So it's easy to open and close like a notebook. Like this thing is just awesome. The way you normally hold it, your finger perfectly lines up with the power button, which is also a fingerprint reader. And I know I have big
Nice.
hands, but I find almost the entire display reachable with one hand, which is something you
Nice.
don't say about most phones these days. And, there's really almost no reason you'd ever actually need to reach all four corners, but it's pretty amazing how much you can do
It look
without the
nice.
hand gymnastics. Like, look at this camera UI. Notice that they've moved all of the buttons you ever need to press over here to the right hand side. Every single function is reachable with one hand on the screen. And
Yeah, it's bad for left hand, but doesn't matter. He use his right hand. No, but when he use his right hand, but it is right. This.
it's
Let
funny,
me
the
shut up.
viewfinder, it almost kind of looks like it's cut off at first until you realize that's just what a normal photo aspect ratio looks like without all the normal blank space all the way around it. Like, this is just straight up better than a regular phone. This aspect ratio is also slightly worse for vertical scrolling with the little black bars, which technically makes it better because we all want to be doom scrolling a little less, right? But then when
No,
you
no.
open it up, it's a perfectly 4:3 aspect ratio and still feels like this little small notebook thing. The screen itself is great. It's another high refresh rate AMOLED with this new anti-reflective
Nice.
coating in there. It also has Samsung's new titanium flex hinge, which does like a B plus job at minimizing the crease. And this all makes an awesome canvas for kind of everything.
But it is terrifying because we need what say cover and this the protector screen, and it feels like it is in high price because the shape.
It's wide enough for two side-by-side apps, so I can legitimately do the
Oh,
occasional
nice.
productivity stuff I've done with other folds, but it's also really nice for a single vertical app when you turn it sideways, which is really good
Ooh.
for reading. I just find it just such a nice, thin piece of
Yeah,
hardware to hold for a long period of time.
I
And I know
don't
you wouldn't
read,
think
but yeah,
4:3
nice.
displays are great for watching videos, but fun fact, this plays back widescreen videos bigger than the Ultra does. Turns out 4:3 is, I mean, it's more wide
I am not Samsung, so I don't watch which is which. I think this one is better, but is this one is in this? God damn it!
screen than a square, so it's slightly bigger for media. And then, of course, you have the occasional older or
Oh,
newer 4:3 videos that you also find online from time to time, and those look amazing. Something the Odyssey. But look, you can see how the honeymoon phase would be awesome with this thing, right? You take it out the box, the screens look amazing, it's lightweight, it's easy to open and close, it's just fun to use. And then it's great on paper too. Like, it's got the new Snapdragon 8 Gen Elite for Galaxy, and Samsung is also finally starting to put some silicon in their batteries. Not as aggressively as the Oppos and Vivos and Xiaomi's of the world, but enough to get a 4800 milliamp hour battery in this phone, which has proven to be all day, even with a lot of big screen use. And it recharges at a respectable 45 watts, which is actually faster than any other previous folding Samsung phone ever.
was
They
nice. I
might have
think.
just nailed it. But then you keep using it, You install all your apps, you
Mm,
get into your routines, and you go
mm.
through a few battery cycles, you really start
Oh,
getting to
it
know
is
it.
like iPad stuff when you upload some apps, but it is smaller in the screen, much smaller.
And use it and durability test it. And then you start to notice some things that you didn't initially pay as much attention to. Like, not every app plays nicely with these aspect ratios, which
Yes.
sometimes is fine. It's just kind of inconvenient or makes like some awkward black bars on the sides or a bunch of blank space.
Oh, it is. It is indeed like iPad.
But also sometimes it means apps are critically broken. Like, when I try to play crossplay,
Nah, it
don't
is
judge me,
okay.
the play button is completely unavailable to me on this phone. Like, the front screen is
Oh,
too short, but then also the inside screen is the wrong shape too. I cannot get that button to show up. That makes this game literally unplayable on this phone. And depending on what other apps you use, you may encounter way more of
oh, it
these.
is one of this thing. It is. You wait for the company to fix it. It is this type of things. But I understand to fluctuate about it.
Than I did. There is also no flex mode, so you may have noticed that awesomely upgraded spring-loaded hinge that makes it more satisfying to open and snap shut also means there is no like halfway open position like there is
Oh,
on the Ultra. I mean, you can kind of
oh,
prop it halfway open,
so
but
it is something already exists, but not in here.
there is no software mode to take advantage of that. There's also the slightly awkward speaker situation. So you'll notice when it's closed, things sound fine and it's stereo because the speakers are at the top and the bottom of the front side. But when you
Mm.
open it, both those speakers are now on the left hand side So you'll notice, like watching
Oh.
full screen videos, the sound is kind of lopsided. Not gonna lie, it's just all coming out of the left side of the phone, and you notice that.
They should they should
Sound is kind of lopsided.
they should put this one here, put two, and this one stay here. But so when open it like that, there is sound from here and here, like an iPhone here and regular phones.
Not gonna lie, it's just all coming out of the left side.
Or put that here and that make it still here.
Full screen videos, the sound is kind of lopsided. Not gonna lie, it's just all coming out of the left side of the phone, and you notice that. Lining up on certain wireless chargers is also tough on this phone, especially the ones where the phone's like
Yeah,
supposed
makes
to
sense.
sit up and use its height to align.
Yeah,
like a
makes
lot of
sense.
in-car chargers just don't work.
Just
This is
it is
Pocket. I never go anywhere without it.
okay.
At the tap of a button, it records.
And there's no built-in magnets in the phone, so it makes a lot of chargers I used to rely on sadly not usable without.
No, it is one of these things when you put like another key, yeah, there is a solution for it. Yes, it is sad and all that, but you can do something about it. Not like throw the phone. Just put something in it. Give him some height, and all good.
Magnetic case. And it's also a big-time rocker.
No, all this talking about this phone make me hype about Apple foldable iPhone. Excuse my English. I am good in reading and understanding the language, but I have no one to talk, so my English as speaker and writing it is bad.
Table with no case on. And then probably the most obvious shortcoming of them all, less cameras. I mean, it's a thinner, lighter, smaller phone, so in pursuit of having enough battery.
So I will say that. It is like an iPad. Your iPad, not his first string and strong point about it, his camera. It is his screen. So it is this type of thing. Or it is this type of. Now, yes, it is cold and phone, so it should be have a nice camera. But yeah, it is one of these, either that or this.
There's less room in here for cameras. So you have a 50 megapixel primary and then a 50 megapixel ultra wide, no telephoto at all. And these aren't bad cameras, they're just not as good as flagship cameras, like the stuff you would ordinarily get in a slab phone. Unfortunately, most photos are just fine. They're not super sharp. They're not incredible colors or great low light performance. They're just fine, which kind of sounds like nitpicking, but on a $1,900 phone, which this is, just kind of hits a little harder not
God
having
damn
some of
it.
the best cameras. Most great expensive phones should have the best cameras. And so that's what happens. That's what you start noticing as you really start to get to use this phone. Obviously, you learn it
Well, it is not for sure not cheap.
really well, and it's not perfect. There's even some stuff about this phone that goes underappreciated because
If it is this one not cheap, what about Apple foldable iPhone? Oh my god. It will be like 2050. 50 like 2.5 thousand. 2,500
it takes a back
dollars. So and to reach my region, it will be like around $3,000 or multiplied by 4. God damn it! Is it fortune?
seat to the novelty of the new shape, like a lot of the software stuff. This is the first phone I'm getting to test with One UI 9 on Android 17, so that's why it has this fancy new responsive clock on my lock screen
Oh,
that
nice.
like moves according to my wallpaper. It's super sick.
Yeah.
And the thicker volume and brightness sliders in quick settings, and just a bunch of other subtle tweaks that, you know, they're nothing game-changing, but worth a nod. I also like that you can turn off the mirroring of a home screen and inside home screen. Like you can have them be totally separate layouts. But I think what I'm thinking about most now that this is out and exists and we're used to it, is what is Apple gonna do with their folding iPhone that we're expecting probably in like 2 months? We're gonna see that.
Oh, in 2
What can we
months.
learn from this
Months.
in that phone? And I think there's 3 main things. One, app support is gonna be key, and that's gonna have to come straight from developers. Luckily, that is one of Apple's strengths, and they've been priming app developers for different aspect ratios and responsive apps for the past couple months and years now, so ideally we don't see too many hiccups like I've seen on this phone. But then two, thin to win. Like, it really does matter that we're coming back to this shape when batteries are better, hinges are better, displays, vapor chambers, and cameras are all smaller, because the thin and light feel in the hand turns out makes a really big difference to make me look forward to taking this phone out of my pocket and using it. Apple, unfortunately, is probably going to do that phone dirty like they did with the iPhone Air by not having silicon carbon batteries, and I am already like pre-mad about that before they even announce it. But then three,
Yeah,
it's going
but
to be
it doesn't matter.
expensive.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
this is a $1,900 phone already. Is it worth it? Objectively, on paper, it's actually kind of not that convincing, right? It's a smaller outside screen, smaller inside screen, smaller battery, worse cameras, and the same chip as all the other flagships. And what's crazy is this is marketed as the like more casual version, where the
damn.
Ultra starts over 2Gs. We start taking bets over at the Waveform podcast on like that new iPhone is
Yeah,
going to be like
Apple will put it like 2 and 5.
$2,500 or something.
Ah,
But over at the Waveform podcast on like that new iPhone is going to be like $2,500 or
I
something.
will start my TikTok channel.
But if you can find the right audience who obviously has money to spend but wants something that genuinely feels new, like really feels new, then you might just have some. Anyway, speaking of new, shout out to Ridge for sponsoring this video. They've just spun up
Hello, footage for sponsor. It is nice video. Give me some ideas or thoughts about future products from Apple. Thank you for watching. See you.